Most people don't think about training their memory until they start forgetting the little things, or they try and get overwhelmed. There are so many techniques, systems, apps, it's hard to know where to start. And nowadays, where life is faster, louder, and more distracting than ever, who has time to actually sit down and memorize stuff?
But memory matters, not just for party tricks and trivia, but for names, conversations, ideas, your kids' milestones, your life.
I spent years deep in the world of memory. These days, I've had to change how I train, not because I care less, but because I care more about keeping it simple and sustainable.
Now, just like building a fire, it only takes a few simple steps to spark your memory to life. I thought it might be helpful to make a simple video that just outlines the basics of what you need to keep your memory sharp, even when your life is full. First, we gotta gather the wood, build the foundation. Just like fire, memory needs fuel, but not a big bonfire all at once, just small bits gathered daily. I don't have time anymore to train, and probably neither do you. All it really takes is 10 minutes a day. If you can stick to that every single day, then you're gonna have an amazing jump in your memory ability. Now, memorizing for 10 minutes doesn't mean that you're sitting down actively memorizing for those 10 minutes every single day. Not always. Sometimes you are. You're memorizing something on the spot. Sometimes you're reviewing something or recalling something you previously memorized. It could be something for work. It could be something for pleasure. It could be you out in the world actively having to memorize. You're gonna see improvements as long as you gather that wood every single day to fuel that fire. That was a good analogy. Next, you gotta arrange the logs on the fire. Structure your practice. You can't just dump the logs on the fire. I guess you can, but if you really want a good fire that really builds and heats up and lights up, you gotta lay them out right. You gotta organize them well. And that's the same with your memory. You can't just dive into it and expect the results. For most people, this is how they get stuck with memory. They don't know how to go about improving it. There's no structure involved. Again, we wanna keep it simple. So what do I recommend? Well, you need to have some systems in place. You need to have images, associations, and memory palaces. I cover that a ton on this channel, so just look around and you'll find out what I mean by that. But to keep it really simple, I think everybody should have 3 memory palaces, small ones. I'd even call them micro palaces, okay, with 10 or 15 locations each. If you can build those, and that's probably the first exercise you need to do after watching this video, is sit down, think of 3 locations that are important to you, your house, your office, your gym, whatever, and think of 10 to 15 locations and write them down. Those will be the go-to memory palaces for the stuff that you want to do every day. To-do lists, your grocery lists, other odds and ends that you want to remember. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be simple. Then you have to light that fire, right? You need that spark. For memory, what I mean by that is you got to have something that's going to spark that motivation every single day. So what's going to bring you to the table to spend those 10 minutes a day memorizing or working on your memory? I competed in memory competitions, so I was motivated to try to win these competitions. That got me in my chair, memorizing decks of cards every day, memorizing hundreds and hundreds of numbers. But that doesn't work anymore. I'm not training to compete, and neither are you. So what do we memorize? What's going to motivate you? You got to figure that out. What I typically recommend is to memorize or focus on the things that are practical, real world, the things that you use every day that will actually advance your life in other ways. So maybe that is memorizing a deck of cards. Maybe that is just memorizing all the names of people you meet. Maybe it's just committing to memory phone numbers that you get from people or things you hear in a meeting. Maybe it's memorizing all that Shakespearean poetry that you've always wanted to. Sit down and figure out what you would like to get out of your memory and make that the thing you focus on every day. That's what's going to make you show up to give you that memory spark. And in our busy lives, we don't have time for fluff. We got to get to it. What comes next? Well, you got to feed the fire, sustain it. For your memory, that means to keep it active and feed it the right stuff. You can't overlook that. Especially at my age, I really gotta keep it in mind because I don't have as much time to train, so I gotta make it up in other ways. Back in the day, I was trying to chase perfection, but these days, I really am just trying to keep it simple. Just the minimum that I need so that my brain can stay afloat. I'm a fitness junkie, so I'm either running every day or doing CrossFit every day, something high intensity, but I need to train 5 to 6 times a week, oftentimes 7. You don't need to do that, whatever works with your schedule, but as long as you stay active. A healthy brain needs an active lifestyle, so just get out and move. In terms of feeding your brain, there are specific foods that can make your brain healthier. Now, this isn't a brain nutrition video, but in case you're curious, this is what I take.
Currently, I take something called Brain Body Memory by Vimergy. It's formulated with just 3 simple ingredients: acetylcholine, magnesium glycinate, and B12. All ingredients that are designed to support your memory, enhance your cognitive function, and restore your brain energy. And as this fancy little animation shows, it absorbs real quick. Nice.
You know, I used to take nootropics, I used to take this supplement, that supplement. It got complicated. And now I take something that has simple ingredients, I know is good for my brain, and something that'll give me that memory spark. The last thing you got to do with the fire is just soak it in. It's ablaze. Sit down, watch it, be mesmerized. Soak in the present. And that can't be any more true for your memory. Spending time being as present as possible is the best thing you can do for your memory. You know, I work hard, I have a lot of things going on, but what's most important to me are my kids. And spending time with them, actual quality time with them, is so important because I want them to remember that, and I also want to remember that. At this stage in my life, I don't know if there's anything I'd rather remember more. So soak it in, be present.
So there you have it. Just a few tips to get you started. Nothing crazy, but hopefully enough to get you started. That's the most important part. So start with those tips, factor them into your daily life, and I guarantee you that in a very short amount of time, you're going to start seeing those improvements in your memory.
It's working for me now that I'm in my 40s with my kids all around me, travel, business, all that jazz. So take that from a 6-time US memory champion who knows what he's talking about from time to time. Now, if you want a little more help with your memory, I'm available for coaching. I teach people how to do this. I work with people one-on-one. I give seminars, workshops, keynote speeches, all of that stuff. So if any of that stuff is of interest, please shoot me a message. I always answer. And if you do so happen want to check out the kind sponsor of this video, which was Vimergy, check out their info in the description. There's even a discount code if you want to buy some of their stuff. Other than that, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.